Hello friends, thank you so much for clicking on another video. Welcome back to Budgeting Over 40. I'm Melissa and I'm here to finally do the spending breakdown for the month of March. So if you're interested in seeing how we spent just over $14,000, please stay tuned. All right, you guys, I appreciate you so much for being here. We're going to jump right in. I'm going to try to just get through this video a little bit quickly. I know we are well into the month of April, but I still needed to come in and show you guys how we spent the money that we spent in the month of March. So first, we're going to jump over into the income versus expense tab, and we're going to discuss the amount of income that was brought into the budget for the month of March. So here are all the income sources that we had in March. Cashback on rewards, $132.88. Now I have lumped everything together. Previously, I was separating the money that came in from my Apple card into my Apple High Yield Savings account, but I did just go in and lump it all together. So everything that you're seeing here, some of it was sent over to my Apple High Yield Savings account, and some of it was credited back to the balance of the credit cards that were used. Now, the next line item is hubby. He did transfer $4,127 into our household joint account, and that was used to pay the bills that we share in the household. Monthly interest was $3.41 that came in to all our accounts. My paychecks came in at $4,844.65. Reconciliation balance adjustment of 48 cents. When I did reconcile my cash account, which is my wallet, there was 48 cents that I didn't know, I don't know where it is. So YNAB created this adjustment and you could see it here. Then the SSI benefits were $1,375.50. That's a grand total of $10,483.92. That is just inflow into the month of March. This does not consider anything that comes over from the month of February as a rollover. So now let's jump over into the spending breakdown and we're going to talk about how all that money and then some was spent. So here we are in the spending breakdown tab. As you can see, $14,362.93 was spent. Now, the first or biggest expense category is home expense. We did go ahead and spend $3,407.69. The first one up is rent for $2,500. We did purchase heating oil in the month of March for $366.85. The cell phone bill came in at $292.39. The electric came in at $107. Internet and home phone for $89 and a penny. Renter's insurance for $43.75. And around the house, which is a sinking fund, I spent $8.69 out of that category. So total spent in comparison to the amount of money that was spent in the month of March, the home expenses is 24%. Now, next is health and wellness for 22% of the total spent. We spent a total of $3,125.58. Now, this is in part because I did go to the periodontist and had the implant put in, and I spent a total of $2,950.91 in dental. Copay was $125, and prescriptions came in at $49.67. Now, our next category up is debt, and debt is showing here 21% of the total spent. It's showing that I spent $3,000.48, but if you have been here before, I have always mentioned that YNAB is not showing the amount that I paid to my credit cards, so there's a little bit more that is paid towards debt that you're not seeing here. So the biggest one in the debt section is Lending Club for $1,059.22. Then comes the auto loan for $939.23. My upgrade personal loan is $629.14. Credit card fees that were paid, $276.03. Now, I have made mention in, I think it was my paycheck budgets in the month of March, that I did a balance transfer from both of my Capital One cards onto my Discover card because Discover is offering me 9 months of 0% interest, and I wanted to take advantage of that. But in order to do the balance transfer, there is a 5% fee that I had to pay. So $276.03 was the amount that was paid. Now, the interest that was lost or interest that was paid in the month of March was $56.86, which is not bad compared to what I have been paying in previous, I would say last year, not previous month in 2025, but 2024, I did pay a lot of interest to the credit cards. Student loan, I paid $40, and that is the minimum payment. So, what I want to do now, I want to just tell you, or I should just jump over to Google Sheets and show you that instead of the $3,000.48, I did actually pay $3,502.61 because there was $218 in credit card minimum payments that were made, and then there was additional payments of $617.02 that was made. So I did discuss the $276.03 that was paid to Discover for the balance transfer fees, but my Apple Card got an additional $340.99. Now let's jump back over to YNAB. So, like I mentioned, the debt is showing 21% of the total spent, but it may be 22% in addition to what was paid to the credit cards, but we're not even gonna discuss that part. Our next big category here is food. Food, we spent 10% of the total amount spent in the month of March, and the total that we spent in dollars was $1,373.67. Now, I didn't do terribly on the groceries slash consumables. We spent a total of $1,134.48. And dining out, I did go over budget and spent $239.19. The next category that's up is miscellaneous. Now, miscellaneous is showing 8% of the total spent at $1,114.67. Now, a part of this is business expense. Now, we did use our personal accounts to do some purchases for the business for $888.06. Now, this is paid back directly from the business. And then there is reimbursements that this is something for hubby for $226.61. Our next category that's up is my babies. This is only 6% of the total spent for $861.99. The biggest expense in this category group is for child support for $526. Camp activities. So 2024, my kids spent the summer between Florida and Jamaica. Now, this year, they're not going anywhere. They're going to stay home with us and they're going to go to camp. So I did sign them up, and there's a deposit that I had to pay $75 per child. So that's $150 that we had to pay in the month of March. Now, after school only got $100 in March. Clothes and shoes got $55.99, and haircuts got $30. My next group that's up is cars, which is 5% of the total spent. $721.94 was spent in dollars. Car fuel was our biggest expense, and I did have to buy gas a lot in the month of March. $336.57 was spent. This is over budget. I did only budget $250 for the month of March, but some months it's more, and some months we spend less in gas. Car insurance was $254.62, and registration renewal was $130.75. Now, we weren't due to renew our car registration, but we have been having issues with one of our cars. And because hubby's a mechanic, he is buying and selling back cars after fixing them. So he did purchase a car real cheap and he fixed it. It was going to cost the former owner a lot of money to fix, so he didn't want to pay. It was going to be upwards maybe $5,000 that it was going to cost to fix. The part was only about $600. So hubby did buy the car. I think he paid about $600 for the car. He fixed it himself for, for the part that cost less than the labor. It didn't take him that long. I think he spent a half a day to fix the car. But one of our cars, which is our secondary vehicle, has been giving us some trouble. So what we did do was transfer the plates from our former car, which we still own. We're not going to sell that one. We're going to fix it, but because we don't have the funds available right now, it's going to cost a lot more than the vehicle that he just purchased and fixed. So we did transfer the plates over from our Mini, which is the second car that we have, onto this new car that he purchased. Now, ultimately, what he's going to do is fix the Mini and then resell this car because personally, I love the Mini, and this car that he got right now, I'm not such a fan of it. So we're going to hold on to the Mini. And eventually, after he fix it, he is going to sell this car that he just recently acquired. And I'm pretty sure he's going to get more than what he spent to fix the car and also to purchase. So that's where the registration renewal came from. We had to just transfer the plates from one vehicle to the other. Our next category group that's up is family. Now, this is my sinking fund. I spent a total of $354.45, which is 2% of the total spent. And this is tax fees. So I did file or taxes in the month of, I think I did file it finally in the month of March. It cost $354.45 to file. We didn't do really good, but we're just making do with what it is. And you guys will see that in the month of April as to what happened with our taxes. I won't even discuss that now. Our next category that's up is subscriptions. Spent a total of $151.05, and this is just about 1% of the total spent. The biggest category here is BJ's annual membership. It actually went up from $59 to $65.18. It was due in the month of March. Peloton was $44. Amazon Prime $16.30. That actually went up 2 cents in the month of March. iCloud storage for $9.99, Sirius XM for $7.99, HP Inc. for $5.43, and Google Cloud came in at $2.16. Now, the next category is personal for less than 1%. I only spent $130.04. And this is just for spending. This is just spending money. I think I ended up, yep, I bought a water bottle. Hubby actually purchased something using my card on Amazon for $50 and a penny. That's something that he paid back. Another time he had to take an Uber because he did work late and he had to drop our vehicle off and the kids were already in bed. So I was going to be able to pick him up. So he took an Uber home. And then there was shipping costs at the UPS for $5.99. Our next and last category is given for $121.37. That is less than 1% of the total spent. And this is for birthdays for $116.37 and barber tips for $5. Now, that is all we have spent in the month of March, $14,362.93. So as you can see, our biggest expense here is for the periodontist for $2,850. This was the amount that I paid out of pocket for the implant to be placed. Now, we did get some reimbursement, and you will see that when we close out the month of April. So stay tuned for that video to discuss what happened with the reimbursement. Our most frequent group spent in was the food group. There was 26 transactions in that. Our average daily spending was $463.32. And like I said, we did spend a total of $14,362.93. Now, as you can tell, this is more than the amount of income that was brought in the month of March. So let's hop back over to the income versus expense tab. And I'm going to speak about the net income after all the expenses were paid. So here are the list of expenses going down the line. And the net income for the month of March, we are in the red. You guys, we are in the red by a lot. $3,879.01. So March was an interesting month, but we actually made it through because, like I said, we are now way into April. I am recording this video on the 19th. I'm hoping to get it up on the 20th. So it is what it is. We did go over budget or over the amount that we brought in the month of March, even though we had some rollover coming in from the month of February. We were still way over. But it is what it is, you guys. We are just going to pick ourselves up. We're going to dust ourselves off and we're just going to get back on our horse and keep on trying. Because 2025, as much as it's coming with its ups and downs, and we're getting thrown a whole bunch of curveballs, we're going to stay the course and we're going to continue on this journey because financial freedom is the goal. So I appreciate you guys for taking the time out to watch. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye now.